Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. Week 5 of college football starts tonight with a good Big 12 showdown between Texas at Iowa State. It should be a pretty interesting game. Iowa State is a team that has shown signs of improvement, while Texas is looking to get their first Big 12 win over their new head coach in Tom Herman. So it should be a very fun one tonight. But we're going to start previewing the games that start tomorrow night into Saturday. One game in particular I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night is USC at Washington State. This is a game I've really been looking forward to all season long. The Trojans at the Cougars, number 5 versus number 16. And this is going to be a really great quarterback battle. You've got Sam Darnold at USC facing off against Luke Falk at Washington State, probably two of the best quarterbacks in the Pac-12. And this game really has not only playoff implications written all over it, but Big 12 title for sure as well. And back in my original preseason picks, I picked Washington State to win this game, and I'm going to pick them to win it this time as well. It's a Friday night. It's a different atmosphere. It's on the road for USC. I know USC is probably the favorite in this game, but I really like Washington State in this one. I like Luke Falk a lot better. I think he's been playing a little bit better than Darnold, although he has shown signs of brilliance. And USC, although they have shown their signs of brilliance as well, have really struggled this season, in my opinion. Both teams are 4-0, but USC did struggle against Western Michigan, as most teams do in the season opener. They didn't look too great against Texas, even though they're a pretty decent team. They did get killed by Maryland in their season opener. And then they obviously beat Stanford in week 2. So USC is still not a bad team. Washington State's 4-0. They really haven't had a huge challenge like this either. They did beat Boise State, and I believe they won their Pac-12 game over Oregon State. So this is going to be a really fun one to watch late tomorrow night. I believe it starts at 9:30 Central Time, so this is going to be a great one to watch. I'm going to pick the Cougars for the big upset, though, and if that's the case, watch out because Washington State can be major contenders in the big Pac-12 this season. My second game that I'm going to talk about is Northwestern at number 10, Wisconsin. Back when I did my preseason picks again, I had Northwestern picked as a major sleeper team in the Big Ten. They really have not lived up to those expectations at all. Once again, they've struggled mightily in the season opener against Nevada, and they got annihilated at Duke, which is another team that has really surprised me this season with the way they've been playing. I believe they're 4-0 as well. They're facing Wisconsin, a team I project to go undefeated. The schedule is there for them to go undefeated. They can easily run the table and make the Big Ten championship game. This game is big, though, because if Northwestern were to pull off the upset, it would really shake up the Big Ten conference standings and they would own the tiebreaker over Wisconsin. So if they could win out and win all the key games, they still have a matchup against Penn State. They could be playing for the Big Ten championship. I'm not going to pick that game, however. Wisconsin is a very difficult place to play, and they have really looked like major college football playoff contenders this season. So I think they're going to take easy care of the Wildcats at home, but still want to keep your eye on just in case. And then Georgia at Tennessee. This is going to bring back good and bad memories. Good memories for Tennessee, horrible memories from Georgia from that thriller last year. Tennessee obviously winning on that Hail Mary as time expired to defeat Georgia on the road. I'm sure Georgia is definitely looking for major revenge against the Volunteers this season, and I think they're going to get it. Tennessee, I believe they're 3-1. The lone loss coming to Florida on a Hail Mary of their own. Florida defeated Tennessee on a 63-yard touchdown pass. So Tennessee finally got that feeling of heartbreak that they gave Georgia last year. Georgia has definitely surprised me this season. There's still a lot of football left to be played, but Jake Fromm coming in at quarterback has really impressed me. And I think he should be the man. I mean, once Jacob Eason gets healthy again, that'll be a very difficult decision to either put Eason back in or keep Fromm in there as well. But I think Georgia goes on the road, defeats the Volunteers, who have struggled a little bit, lost to Florida, struggled against UMass. I know Neyland Stadium is a very difficult place to play, but I think Georgia is riding high, and I think they will defeat the Volunteers. I did pick that back in my preseason picks. And then another midday college football SEC game, number 24 Mississippi State at number 13 Auburn. This will be a really fun one to watch, too. Two great quarterbacks as well, Nick Fitzgerald at Mississippi State and Jarrett Stidham at Auburn. Jarrett Stidham has really not lived up to the hype at Auburn. They've struggled. They lost to Clemson, struggled against Mercer. And they got a good bounce back game last week, beating Missouri, annihilating them. I think it was like 51-13 or something. But this is a huge game because both teams already have one loss right now. Auburn obviously only has one non-conference loss. So this will be huge for them if they want to continue to remain a factor in the SEC West. Same with Mississippi State. They do have an SEC loss, losing at the hands of Georgia last week. So the loser of this game is not necessarily out. Mississippi State would be out of the SEC West race, I believe. They lost this game. That'd be 2 conference losses with dates against Alabama left as well. A couple other decent SEC teams in there. Auburn, this would be their first conference loss if they were to lose this one. So not necessarily out of the race yet, but keep in mind they still have a date against Alabama, LSU, and those kind of guys. So I'm going to pick Auburn this one. I believe I picked them in my preseason picks as well. I'm not really differing from what I did in the preseason on these picks tonight, but I think Auburn gets the win over Mississippi State, but the Bulldogs are looking to bounce back after that embarrassing loss to Georgia last week, especially after they were coming off such a big win against LSU. And then the final game that I'm going to pick tonight is the big one that everybody's looking forward to. College game day is heading here. Number 2, Clemson, number 12, Virginia Tech. And this is going to be another really fun one to watch. 2 young quarterbacks. Got Kelly Bryant at Clemson. That's going to be a really fun one to watch. The defending national champions, Virginia Tech's looking to knock them off. Virginia Tech is another team, kind of like Georgia, that I didn't expect to do super well this season, but they have pleasantly surprised me. This is going to be a major test for the Hokies. If they can get this win, they are definitely looking like playoff contenders. It could really run the table in the ACC, and getting this game at home is going to be huge for them. So I'm very excited to see how the Hokies live up to it. Clemson already has a major conference road win earlier. They beat Louisville on the road, so this is not like a new environment for them. They're obviously experienced, and Kelly Bryant has been a major factor in all the games they've played against Auburn, Louisville, all the big games. Virginia Tech's offense has been explosive, though, so I think they will give Clemson's experienced defense a test. In the end, though, I think Clemson does beat the Hokies, just like I predicted back in the preseason, but I do expect this game to be a lot closer than some might expect. So it will not shock me if the Hokies go and beat the Tigers, but I do think the Tigers will win in a narrow one, and Virginia Tech shouldn't slip too much in the rankings. They're just going to have to bounce back as the season progresses. They still have plenty of games left against ACC opponents, so one loss to the defending national champions will not prevent them from making the ACC championship game. There's still plenty of games left to be played, and Virginia Tech will continue to be a threat to many teams in the ACC. And if you have noticed, there's one thing missing here. I do not have my Heisman watch here like I have in the past couple of weeks when we've previewed games. This is because I feel that not many things will change in the Heisman watch within 1 week. So we're going to give it, maybe every other week, every 2 weeks, something like that, and then I'll do a Heisman watch. I know some people do enjoy that, but I don't think there will be too many changes after 1 week, so we'll give it a couple and come back and review the new guys. And I'll probably start ranking them as well, ranking who, in my opinion, are the top 5 players in the country in the Heisman watch. And they probably will differ from a lot of other people's. One guy that I think, in my opinion, is number 1 right now is Saquon Barkley, putting up over 300 all-purpose yards against Iowa in a very tough road game. That screams Heisman to me, so I think he's definitely number 1 right now. Closely behind him is probably Baker Mayfield, the quarterback of Oklahoma. So we'll get back to the Heisman watch here in a couple of weeks. We're just going to take a short break from that. But these are my top 5 games for the week. Those are my picks. None of them, I don't think, differ from what I predicted in the preseason, so we're going to have to see if they're right. And make sure you tune in on Sunday and see how I did this week, as I've been doing a recap for each week. We go over how I did the week and how I've been doing overall. So make sure you tune into that. And please continue to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time on The Gridiron Expert.